What's up, everybody? I'm Logan Exhales. Welcome to the Rise and Vape Show. Who the fuck is Logan Exhales? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. So, we normally start each week with what I've been vaping, right? Pretty standard issue thing. I don't want to do that this week because basically everything that I've been vaping is the same as last week. So if you want to see that, just go back a week. Go back to episode whatever last week was. The only thing that's changed is I re-wicked the dead rabbit. Did I say wabbit? Be very, very quiet. We're hunting golden pigs. This is Zabello from the Golden Pig. I love this liquid, but I love the label even more because it's just bright red with a golden pig. It's a mango apricot. Real good, real tasty. If you get the chance, pick some up if you like mango and apricot liquids. If not, avoid it at all costs because it is very mango and apricot. And we've been kind of shooting from the couch lately, just because I get way better lighting. Our big windows are right here, so I get that natural light that makes me look ghostly white, but it's still better than sitting over in the corner and trying to use lamps, basically, for lighting, which it's just terrible, and you get really bad shadows and stuff. So that's why we're on the couch, and it's probably where a lot of these episodes are going to stay from now on until we move, because in July, we're going to be moving from a tiny little apartment into a full house, which is going to be awesome. We're going to be doing a lot of filming during that too, so I'm hoping to have some, at least one really cool episode about our move into our new house for you guys, kind of setting up, the video area and, our kind of vape station, if you will, which is all kind of basically in the bedroom right now. But what I wanted to start with this week was kind of basically what the title says. Who the fuck is Logan Exhales? Well, me. Hi. Let's go back pre-content creation. I am a avid gamer, or I was for a long time. It's kind of calmed down now. I find that I don't have quite as much time for video games as I would enjoy. But that's because I am, one, working a lot, and two, really focusing on advocacy for tobacco harm reduction, especially around vaping, because I know that it works, I believe in it, and the science is behind it. So I'm behind it as well. You should all know that by now, though. But let's go back. I started gaming when I was 4 years old. Final Fantasy for Nintendo when I was 4 years old, and I was hooked ever since. A big fan of RPG games. If it's got dragons, swords, shields, and armor, you count me in. I'll be there, and I'll be the best rogue you can find. But gaming was always my passion. Throughout my whole life, I can't think of a time where I wasn't gaming. Nope. It's just always been a part of my life. It's always been kind of, my escape. For a lot of people, books are their escape, and they dive into books. That was what I did as a kid, and all the way up till now. When I kind of need to get away from the real world, I turn on the Xbox, hop into a game, and I forget about everything else. A lot of people know me online, especially on Xbox, as Earth to Logan. Hi, that's me. I started streaming a few years ago. I started on Twitch. Everybody's familiar with Twitch on there. I also went as Earth to Logan. I met a lot of great people through Twitch, but I found the community to be basically a toxic wasteland of negativity. So we moved over to Mixer. Me and a few friends of mine. We streamed on Mixer for well over a year. Had a great time. Some of the greatest people that I know now I met through streaming, through gaming online. And streaming became a passion of mine for a while. And then that kind of slowly started to become tougher and tougher on myself and on my family and on my family time. Live streaming video games requires consistency, like more consistency than what you would assume making a YouTube video or having a YouTube channel revolves around. Live streaming demands that you basically be there all the time, like constantly online streaming, and it became a juggle. Family time, game time, community time, family time, and it became stressful, very stressful, and it took away from time with my kids, took away from time with my girlfriend, and it made gaming less fun. And that's not what I wanted at all. So I left streaming. I said, you know what? I'm done. I want to enjoy playing games with my friends again when I have the time, instead of feeling like I have to do this. In that time frame was when I had quit smoking and started vaping. Was not very familiar with vaping on YouTube or things of that nature. I basically just went to our local vape shop back in the summer of 17. I picked up an Aspire K4 kit within a week. I had quit smoking. Mind you, I smoked a pack a day for 11 years. And I quit smoking with vaping. But I didn't really get involved online. I wasn't aware of the politics around vaping. I wasn't aware of the community around vaping for a while. It was something that I guess I just didn't really dive into. I didn't really look into. I didn't really think, there was anything there. And then, later on down the road, I decided, I'm looking for a new mod. I'm looking for new things. I'm going to go online. And that was kind of when I discovered the community around vaping and the advocacy work that people do, what we're up against, the whole shebang-a-bang. And I looked at it and I said, I have this platform of people in my Twitter community who are gamers. I know a lot of gamers who smoke still to this day that I do try to talk to about it. Not everybody wants to listen. I didn't want to listen for a long time. But that community that still kind of follows me and what I've done in the past with gaming provides me with an opportunity to reach even more people outside of the vaping community. Because a lot of times in the vaping community, when you're trying to get news out there, you're trying to share information, and you're trying to spread awareness, a lot of times you kind of just feel like you're preaching to the choir, that you're just kind of in a room full of vapors yelling all of this at vapors, and you're really not outreaching. And that's what I saw a lot of. And the same goes for the gaming community and almost any community online. You get to a certain point where you're kind of just screaming at each other and you're not reaching out to other groups of people. I said, you know what? I have a platform. I have a community. I have a lot of people that I can reach out in that community. And I decided to just full 180, switch up everything I was doing and just get laser focused in being involved in vaping and in tobacco harm reduction and trying to help save people's lives. Thus, the Rising Vape Show was born. Started as an Instagram project, and I was getting involved with advocacy things on Twitter. And then, I looked at my computer, I looked at my webcam and my mic, and I said, it's not the greatest setup, and I haven't made YouTube videos in a long time, but we'll give it a shot. And so far, there's been a number of you that have enjoyed it, so I've decided to stick around. Today, I wanted to give, a little background information on who I am, where I come from, where my content creation comes from, and where my passion and drive is. Vaping saved my life, 100%. My health was going down the drain pretty quick from smoking. I quit the summer of 17 because I was outside playing with my kids, and in about 10 or 15 minutes or so, running around playing tag, I had to stop. I was just out of breath, couldn't catch my breath, wheezing, gasping for air, and not being able to play with my kids just broke my heart. It just, I didn't want to be the dad in the wheelchair. I didn't want to be the dad hooked up to oxygen. I didn't want to be the dad that couldn't play with his kids. And so I went down to my local vape shop because, it was the only option I really had left. I had tried gums in the past. I had tried other ways to quit, and it just nothing worked. It may have worked for a few days, but I always just ended up going back to a pack of cigarettes, and that was it. And for a long time, I gave up on the idea of quitting. I thought that I would just die a smoker because, that's kind of where you get to at a certain point with smoking, especially if you've tried to quit. You reach a point where you're like, fuck, I'm just gonna die a smoker. Like that's it. That's my story. I'm just another tobacco related death. And I had convinced myself of that pretty hard. And that day it just broke my heart, and I said, I gotta try something else. I had tried e-cigarettes in the past, like little cig-likes from a gas station years and years ago, 2010, 2011. They did not work. So at that point, I had basically written off vaping as well as a tool to help me quit smoking. Back then, though, mind you, cig-likes or, e-cigarettes back then were not nearly as efficient and good as they are now. They were pretty rough back then. To anybody who quit smoking back then with one of those, more power to you. More power to you, because it didn't work for me. It wasn't enough. But when I picked up that Aspire K4 and I got some 18 milligram, immediately that day I went down from a pack to 7 cigarettes. Over the course of that week, I went back. I tried a number of other e-liquids from my local vape shop, kind of like a house liquid. Lemonade, strawberry lemonade was a really good one. That actually might be the liquid that I ended smoking on. But that higher milligram, that sub-ohm vape is what got me off of cigarettes within a week. I went from a pack to 0 in 7 days. And I was blown away. I was like, this is it. I wasn't aware of what was going on with vaping. I really didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was in the liquid I was vaping. I wasn't familiar with any of it. I just knew that this was working for people and that it might work for me, and it did. Then I asked why. Why does this work for me? And is it safe? Is it safer than smoking? All of those things I didn't know. And diving in real hard, pushing away the junk science and things along the way, I found my answers, and that's why I still vape today. But that's really that's kind of the story behind who Logan Exhales is and what my channel is and what I'm trying to do, where I come from, my background content creation wise. I believe in every community out there. There are smokers in that community, whether that's gaming or art or music or whatever it is that you might have a hobby in as well. You share a community with vapors already. Most likely, if you're watching this, you probably vape. But most likely, you also share a community with some other hobby that you have. You have a community there that you can raise awareness in. Other people that you can reach. We don't just have to yell at other vapors, hey, vapors, guess what Scott Gottlieb did last week? Like, it gets old after a while, and you kind of just feel like you're preaching to the choir. And for me, it provides me with this community that I think a lot of people don't have in the vaping world. And if you do, more power to you. And if you don't, think about the other hobbies that you have. Things that you enjoy as well as vaping, and try to get involved in those communities and raise awareness there. The more people that we can reach outside of our little vaping bubble, the better. So yeah, that's kind of my intro this week. I don't know how well that's going to edit down and how terrible that's going to be, or if anybody even gives a crap. But that's where I come from, and I'm trying to help people from anywhere that I can help them, whether that's online in the gaming community or talking to people about music or meeting people in the real world. I don't want to be another vapor yelling at vapors about vaping. I want to reach further than that. Let's get away from all that. Let's move away. Move. Come on. Clear the way. We're moving on. Is this swimming? I feel like I'm swimming. I feel really pasty white today with this sunshine coming through my window. I'm just very, very ghostly. I apologize. I'm not dying or anything. Please don't think that. We are gonna have a liquid tasting here soon. Becky's setting something up for us to do a liquid tasting on. And yeah, and then I guess we're gonna talk about seizures after that. So stick around, and maybe I can yell at some more vapors about vaping. All right, guys, you ready for a liquid tasting? Let's do it. Welcome back to another e-liquid review on the Rise and Vape Show. Becky?
That's me.
A while back, if you're familiar with the show, we tested out Nitro's cold brew. Which one was it?
Coffee vanilla bean.
The vanilla bean, right. And I don't remember exactly what we rated it, but I remember it being way too much like menthol colada cooling effect for me. I really liked the coffee that was in it, though. So it definitely was not a great score for me, if I remember right. But I think you rated it pretty well.
I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5.
Yeah, I remember you enjoyed it, and you've continued to vape on it here and there, and I have not. But in our last month's sample box, we received another Nitro's cold brew.
I picked it.
Oh, she picked it. That's right, she did. She picked it. So we're here to review that, I guess. You want to let them know what it is and show it off a little bit?
Today we are trying Nitro's cold brew coffee white chocolate mocha.
Use your hand.
Wait, hold on. I'll get it. No. I always do it the wrong way. The struggle is so real.
Either way, you guys get the idea. White chocolate mocha. I am not a big white chocolate fan, but when it comes to actual coffees, you can ask her every time we go to a coffee shop. Mocha. I always order a mocha. Give me a mocha, soy milk, extra shot of espresso. That's my like $8 cup of coffee every time.
And this is 6 milligrams.
After vaping on 3 milligram for weeks now, and I definitely notice the difference between 3 and 6 now. I used to not notice it so much. Now I definitely notice it. Knuckle test. The old knuckle test. There's still going to be way too much of that Lada or that.
So we're going to test this on the Revenant.
No. It is the Delta from TVL and Revenant.
Okay, my bad.
With the Reload RDA on top.
The bottle is not filled. I'm going to drip it first.
To break out the MTV t-shirt today. Who remembers MTV? Huh?
Anyways, back to this.
Yeah, back to this.
I'm going to hit this.
I can smell it already. She went back pretty quick. Okay. I don't know about this one. 85 watts on a 0.3. Okay. There's still a lot of that menthol or that mint or that culotta. I still have not been able to identify exactly what it is in there, whether that's mint or menthol or culotta, but there's still a lot of it. I know that Nitro's cold brew obviously goes for that cooling effect. Cold brew, you know, it's supposed to be an iced coffee vape. If that's what you're after, there's a lot of it and it's good. The white chocolate comes through pretty predominantly. I'm not a fan of white chocolate. The coffee in it at the tail end, I only get it on the aftertaste. And the coffee that's in it, I will stand by again with Nitros. Whatever coffee they're using, phenomenal. I just really wish they would get away from using so much of that cooling effect. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna give it a 2. I don't want to give it a 1 because it's a solid vape. It lines up with what it claims to be, an iced white chocolate mocha.
I think it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. I like the cooling. The white chocolate is okay. I like the mocha aftertaste. I'd probably give this a 3.
Not an all-day vape?
No.
Session vape?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it would be nice to have just a little less of that culotta or whatever that is in there, just to kind of get a little bit more of the flavors. It didn't have as much of that cold brew in there. I think it would be better.
And I don't mind menthol in some things, you know, but I think the point of menthol in a lot of things for me is to heighten the flavor, is to brighten things up, not
overpower it.
Not overpower everything. And I think that's what happens in Nitro's cold brew for me, is it just overpowers everything. I think that's what really hurts the scores for me with Nitros.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just too much. But if you're somebody that thoroughly enjoys menthol, and you're someone that thoroughly enjoys coffee vapes,
This is for you.
this is definitely for you. If that's your palate, if that's something that you really enjoy, and you haven't tried Nitro's cold brew yet, I would highly recommend it to those people. If you're somebody like me that's kind of on the fence about menthol, or you only like menthol in small amounts to brighten and and enhance flavors in an e-liquid, I don't think this is going to be for you. I think you're going to find that it's just too much.
I agree.
So I gave it a 2. Becky gave it a 3. Again, that is Nitro's cold brew
Show off.
white chocolate mocha. Hey, you know, when you've done it for a little while like I have, you learn all the tricks of the trade.
Bye.
Time for some news and advocacy. You guys ready? Let's do it. All right, yeah. So, currently, since August 1st of 2017 to now, which is April 7th, 2019, due to vaping, I have experienced 0 seizures. Pretty good, right? I think I'm doing pretty good at this point. If you're in the news with vaping, if you're keeping up with advocacy and things, this is the basically this is the new popcorn lung. So what we have now is a sudden uptick in seizures. I will provide the link to the FDA official statement down below in the description, so you can also go and read and share this as you see fit. But it goes on to say that the FDA has become aware that some people who use e-cigarettes have experienced seizures, with most reports involving youth or young adult users. Obviously, that has to be the very first line that they put in there, obviously, you know, because of the youth vaping epidemic. And they go on to explain, you know, what a seizure is. They say seizures or convulsions are known potential side effects of nicotine toxicity and have been reported in the scientific literature in relation to intentional or accidental swallowing of e-liquid. They then go on to, obviously, they explain what a seizure is, the warning signs of seizures. They say if you think a person is having a seizure, to call 911, and please do. If you do believe anybody is having a seizure, please call 911. They say seizures have been reported among first-time e-cigarette users and experienced users. In a few situations, e-cigarette users reported prior history of seizure diagnosis. A few reported cases indicated seizures in association with use of other substances such as marijuana or amphetamines. Seizures have been reported as occurring after a few puffs or up to 1 day after use. Most of the self-reported data that the FDA has received does not contain any specific brand or sub-brand information about the e-cigarettes. The FDA is seeking more information about seizures following e-cigarette use to identify common risk factors and understand if any e-cigarette product attributes such as nicotine content or formulation may contribute to seizures. If you or someone you know has experienced any unexpected health or safety issues with any tobacco product, please report it through the Safety Reporting Portal, SRP. SRP users may upload relevant medical reports in support or instead of a full SRP report. And let's go into this. The FDA has been receiving voluntary adverse experience reports, meaning these are just reports from people voluntarily basically saying, you know, whatever they want. They don't necessarily have to include any medical background information about tobacco products since 1988, including accepting online reports since 2014 via the Safety Reporting Portal. Consumers have also reported adverse experience information directly to poison control centers. Since June 18, the FDA has observed a slight but noticeable increase in reports of seizures after examining poison control centers reports between 2010 and early 2019. The FDA determined that between the poison control centers and the FDA, there were a total of 35 reported cases of seizures mentioning use of e-cigarettes within that time frame. Due to the voluntary nature of these reports, there may be instances of seizures in e-cigarette users that have not been reported. 35. 35 reported documented cases of seizures among e-cigarette users in a 9-year span. That means less than 3.5 people per year have reported seizures while they were e-cigarette users. A number of those people already have a a pre-existing seizure. Man, I'm struggling today. Maybe I'm having a seizure. No, I'm kidding. I'm obviously not. A lot of those people already have a pre-existing seizure condition, such as epilepsy, and a number of those users were also using other substances other than nicotine, whether that be in their e-cigarettes or outside of their e-cigarettes that may have caused the seizure. The FDA really does not know anything, any correlation, if any, between the use of nicotine-based e-cigarettes and seizures. This is really kind of a shame that the FDA is doing this. They are making bold statements to make people fear the use of e-cigarettes without substantial data, without anything to prove it, and it's really kind of shitty, to be honest. We look towards the FDA and other organizations and administrations like them for factual information, for confirmed things, not speculation. My question is why? The FDA this is not something the FDA regularly does. They do not usually put out things like this around speculation or around extremely low numbers like we're seeing with this, especially when they're basically saying that they cannot confirm or deny anything. We should encourage people to report incidents and things that are going on, but we also need to be aware of any other substances that they're using and any pre-existing conditions that they may have. Obviously, every news media outlet under the sun has picked up this story and ran with it. You'll see headlines saying vaping causes seizures. Come on. I'm not sure the exact number of people currently vaping in the United States, but it's large. It's well into the millions at this point of people using e-cigarettes regularly, and to have 35 cases over the span of 9 years. More people a year are dying while walking and texting than from vaping. And for the FDA to be this irresponsible with information, to simply further add to the fear mongering and the spread of misinformation and just all around, their fight against e-cigarettes and vaping, this is just another one. I want people to understand that nicotine is a stimulant, and if you do have a pre-existing seizure condition, that I would definitely recommend talking to your doctor or doing a little bit more research as far as vaping is concerned and whether or not nicotine use for you is appropriate. But as a whole, is vaping causing seizures? Are all of us vapors having seizures all of a sudden? No, no, by no means. In any other field, if you were to see the adverse effects of something around 35 people in a 9-year span, no one would question it. No one would be alarmed if we were to say, well, 35 people who drink coffee in the past 10 years have experienced seizures. We wouldn't be banning coffee. We wouldn't be banning Tylenol or other amphetamines that have been known to cause seizures. We wouldn't be banning those, right? We're obviously not banning things like Chantix, prescribed quit smoking medication that has been known to cause seizures, that has an extremely high suicidal rate on top of that, amongst a number of other issues. And I think it's just irresponsible. I think it's solely only there in their fight against e-cigarettes, and they're really scratching at the bottom of the barrel now to find something wrong. And obviously, the number of people who vape who have not experienced a seizure far, far outweighs the number of people who have by millions. Millions. When it comes to trusting the information given to us by our own Food and Drug Administration, I ask that you read it carefully, that you understand the logistics of what they are claiming, and understand just how that plays a role in their agenda. When it comes to the fight against vaping, it's not about your health. It's always about money It's always about funding and grants. It's sad. This is another report that is going to keep addicted adult smokers away from trying to quit with the use of an e-cigarette. Tobacco-related disease is the #1 preventable cause of death in America, with over 480,000 Americans on track to die this year alone. We are now scaring those adults away from life-saving products with very minuscule numbers and very, very hazy information. Sad. It really, honestly, it really makes me sad. These are government officials that we are led to believe that we should trust with our information and with the science, and they are doing a very, very poor job of being realistic and being honest and truthful in what they are seeking out to achieve. And it just makes me sad. It just makes me real sad. So yeah, if you are wondering whether or not vaping is going to cause you to have a seizure, I would look at any pre-existing conditions that you may have, and also look at any other substances that you may be using that have been directly proven to cause seizures, and take that in consideration, because for the rest of us who have been vaping for years and for a long time, we're not having seizures. It's not happening. With that, guys, I'm going to close this episode out. Thank you so much for joining me and Becky on another episode of the Rise and Vape Show. We thank you from the bottom of our heart and lungs. If you want to check me out on Instagram or on Twitter, it's at Logan Exhales. And also, please, the best thing that you guys can do is get involved, and a great place to do that is through CASAA. Go join CASAA. It's free to sign up. You can get your newsletters, you can get emails, you can get updates on all the calls to action going on in your areas. And please, if you have the opportunity to attend one of these hearings, go. Voice your opinion, voice your experience, and if you're not somebody who wants to get up and speak to these people, simply being there and showing that you too are a human being that uses these products to get away from smoking, and that you're still here because of that, that's a lot. That says a lot. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much. This has been another episode of the Rise and Vape Show. I hope you guys made it all the way to the end, and if you did, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, click that thumbs up for me. It does a lot for me. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. Let me know why. Let me know what I can work on and what I can improve to make this whole show that much better. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Again, from the bottom of my heart and lungs, you guys are great. I'm Logan. This has been the Rise and Vape Show, and I'll see you guys next time.